Back here at home, in its latest efforts to boost economic ties with Tokyo, South Korea will bolster cooperation with Japan for its ambitious plan to create the world's largest chip cluster in the country while expanding talent exchanges. Rae-hyun has more.
South Korea has announced plans for further cooperation with Japan following the bilateral summit between President Yoon and Prime Minister Kishida in Tokyo last week. According to Finance Minister Choo Kyung-ho on Friday, the government has set some of the financial tasks to be undertaken in order to continue to restore relations between the two countries.
Renewing bilateral ties is expected to contribute to Korea's export and domestic demand, plus restoring the supply chain of key materials as Japan lifts its export curbs, and bilateral cooperation in the high-tech sector, a more positive effect is forecasted.
To do that, the government will work on the best way to cooperate with Japan in terms of the supply chain as South Korea seeks to create the world's largest high-tech chip production cluster. The government last week announced plans to build the massive semiconductor hub in Yongin City just south of Seoul. Around $230 billion are planned to be injected into the project. On top of that, the minister also pledged to expand the talent exchange project between the two countries. This includes exchange programs between Seoul and Tokyo for university students and cultural exchange programs for middle and high school students. To encourage more travel between the two countries, the government also said it will work to increase the number of flights to Japan. Other plans include creating a joint fund for ventures and R&D, holding discussions with Japan to respond to both the Inflation Reduction Act in the U.S. and the Carbon Border Adjustment Mechanism in the EU, as well as joint studies on demographic challenges and climate issues. Meanwhile, plans to create 15 national high-tech industrial complexes across South Korea were also discussed. The finance minister said it will launch a government-private sector committee this month so that construction can begin as early as 2026. South Korea will also seek to boost the export of diverse items like OTT streaming services, AI, and chips, and expand to new export markets in the Middle East and ASEAN countries. Rae-hyun, Arirang News.